Okay, it's Sunday night at the end of week 3, so it's time for week 3 summary. This week I did a total of, should have had this ready to go before the video, but 19.26 hours of active studying and 3.5 or 3.4 hours of passive listening and watching, which is up from the first 2 weeks by about an hour, I think. So I did an hour more this week than I did the first 2 weeks. And for Coffee Break Italian, which is where the extra hours came in, I did 25 lessons this week for a total of 9.3 hours of listening. I've gone through the entire first season now, which is 40 episodes, and listened to each episode at least once. I'm going to go back through a couple of those episodes because I want to take more notes, and because I didn't get to because I was in the car, and so I kind of want to go back just a couple of those episodes. And then lessons 31 through 38 or so, I didn't take any notes. Actually, you can see here it goes from 31 to 38 because it was mostly the podcast was the host went to Italy, and so they recorded live conversations. So it was actually more of listening practice, really. I mean, they talked about the grammar and stuff a bit too, but there wasn't as much to take notes on there. And so yeah, I'm going to go back, and there's a few lessons I want to take extra notes on, and then I'll move on to season 2 sometime next week. Then for Link, not much to say here. I did 11 lessons for 4.46 hours this week. As you've seen from earlier in the video, that seems to be going well. I'm getting a lot of passive vocabulary, at least. Kind of getting exposed to more grammar constructions, even grammar constructions that I have not explicitly studied from a grammar book perspective, but I'm picking up on just from seeing them repeated over and over again and seeing the translations. And so that's been going well. With Asimil this week, oh yeah, something else I wanted to add in was, so I did at least something in Coffee Break Italian 7 out of 7 days this week, and end of week 3, so that means 21 days of studying. I've done Coffee Break Italian every day, so I'm 21 out of 21. On Link, I did 7 out of 7 days this week, but last week I went 6 for 7, and the first week I went 7 for 7, so I've done at least one lesson in Link 20 out of the 21 possible days so far. And Asimil this week, I did 6 out of 7 days. I missed one day, and I don't recall why. I think life had gotten in the way, and I just was unable to get an Asimil lesson in. But that's the only one I've missed so far, so I'm 20 of 21 on that. This week, I did 6 Asimil lessons plus a revision for a total of 3.4 hours. And yeah, not much to say there other than I missed my first day so far on that, but that's also going well, and I like it because you get practice writing at least the way that I do, and that's how I treat kind of like all of these tools, is that I really try to not rush through them, which is why, for instance, a Link lesson will take me 20 to 30 minutes sometimes, depending on how long the lesson is, and if I'm having difficulties either with pronunciation, repeating what I'm hearing in the lesson, or I'm really trying to understand this grammar construction that they're using. And then for the last of the active study tools for Italian Uncovered, I did it 3 out of 7 days this week for a total of 9 out of 21 days. This is clearly the tool that if something gets dropped off, usually it's going to be this one. So I'm averaging 2 to 3 times a week of doing some Italian Uncovered. I've read through and watched all of the materials in the study materials for 3 of the chapters so far with Italian Uncovered, but each of the chapters have a vocabulary worksheet and a grammar worksheet, and so I went through that with chapters 1 and 2. So I'm going to go through the same vocab and grammar worksheets with chapter 3 this week, and maybe I'll get through the reading of chapter 4 and going through the videos that show you like grammar breakdowns and vocab breakdowns and pronunciation guides as well. And I did 3 sessions of that this week, like I said, for a total of a little over 2 hours, 2.1 hours. And then the last category, the passive materials, watching YouTube videos, watching Netflix, listening to podcasts, which really is just easy Italian right now. And so I've listened to a couple of those episodes. I did 5 out of 7 days this week. I've done some passive listening and watching for a total of 17 out of the 21 available study days thus far for 3.4 hours this week. The major note is that I finished Odio il Natale on Netflix. It's good show, entertaining. I may watch it again. It's a seasonal show. Well, not seasonal show, but it's a show that has to do with the holidays. And so for me, Christmas is next week, next Sunday, and I'm not gonna watch that until potentially next year, but I like the show, so I may watch it again before Christmas, so this upcoming week. I also started doing some research, asked on Reddit for some music suggestions for Italian, so that's why I think too my passive listening has gone down, quote unquote, because I'm not counting the time that I'm listening to music as passive listening, even though it is, obviously. But a lot of times, at least for me, music is a little bit more difficult of a tool to use because, a lot of times the lyrics and what the artist is saying gets obfuscated from the sound of the music. And so I generally don't count music as even passive studying a lot of the times. And so, yeah, that's pretty much the summary for this week. Went pretty well. Happy with my progress. I'm eager, I think, to start some classes. Yeah, I know. Some classes on italki and to start speaking, because I think that's really going to help take my Italian to another level in terms of really ingraining those sorts of grammar constructions and being able to use them. And so, yeah, with that, I'm gonna do my little timer trying to speak some Italian, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so I've got the stopwatch out now. So, boom. Okay. Questa settimana ho mangiato molte pizze e molti gelati. Ho imparato l'italiano per 3 settimane e ho 21 days. Dia? No, forgot. Mi piace molto l'italiano e sono molto contenta per la prossima settimana. And yep, you can see there I got did a little bit over a minute, but got kind of stuck in trying to find words that I just don't have yet. I need more costruzione grammaticale and vocabulario, if that's even an Italian word, or if I'm just Spanishifying my Italian now too much. But Yep. So that's it for this week. I'll see you next week with another update.